Alright, today we're gonna go do a little work. I gotta do some stuff with the cub, and the cub videos normally get, I got a small group of people that really enjoy the cub videos, so we're gonna do that. But first off, I had a guy call. Mom and Dad are out of town for the week, so I had a guy call me and needs a steel line made for their combine, so I gotta try to get this thing done real quick. 3/8 tube, bite type steel ferrules. So I figured real quick I'd kind of show you this process. So start with the easy bend. Measure from the end. I guess it makes more sense to put you here. So you're going to go from the end of the tube to... This is easier with the nut off, but I want to leave that nut on there for a minute. You want to go from the end of the tube to... Come on, let go. To the start of the bend, which in this case is about 106, or sorry, not 100, about 59 1/8. So, and you want to put your mark at the start of the bend, because when you put the tube in the bender and you make the bender is going to draw this material out. So you put your mark here, the bend's going to start there and be drawn around, and then this length will end up the same. So we get a little pencil. And we put a little mark. At 59 1/8, which is here. Don't really have a good vantage point for you, but it helps if you just take the mark and continue it all the way around. It makes it easier. And then this tube I should be able to do in a set of hand benders. I think that's the 3/8. Yep. So when you put the tube in the bender, and these ones have got a chip in them. Actually, that's not a chip. Looks like Dad had to grind this down to do something. So you're going to put your mark on your tube at the 0 degree mark on the bender, and then what you call the live end of your tube, the tube that you're going to work, goes on this side. So you want it set up to where when you're pulling the bender, you're drawing the tube around that away. So 0 degree mark, and it's a 90 degree bend. And this bender is a little bit tighter than the one that they used. Overbent it just a hair, so we gotta straighten it back out just a wee bit. Okay, so there's that. Let's see if you can see them. talking about here, this bender, I guess I should have looked at it first, but I didn't think about it. This bender runs a tighter radius than the one that they used at the factory, so that affects it a little bit. So then the other one, you come up from here and you measure, and then there's just a slight little and you gotta kind of try the best you can. So if you look at it, it's bent. It's bent at a little bit of an angle. So you gotta kind of try to mirror that as best you can. There's a kink in it right here, but that's from a clamp, so that doesn't need to be there. It's just supposed to be straight. So I'll put that bend in it real quick. Same thing, you measure. In this situation, the easiest thing to do is either over the end of the tube, over like this edge of the tube, or butt up to this edge of the tube. Either way, as long as you measure the same on both tubes, it'll work out. But then measure up to the start of that bend. So, but anyhow, I'll do that one real quick, and then we'll come back when we're putting the ferrules on for you. Okay, tubes bent and cut. Should fit. So before we put the ferrules on, we got to come over here and deburr it on the little deburring tool here. That's the big bender, by the way. And then the flaring tool for if you got 37-degree flare instead of these bite type things. We can get rid of this. It's for a new Holland grain head, by the way, for anybody that's wondering. Now we need a couple of these guys. And I'm just gonna, I'd thought about taking the nuts off of that tube and reusing them, but screw it. So, nut goes on, and then the ferrule goes on, and the way these work, you got a ferrule that, once it's set, will go inside of, it's kind of hard to see. There's a little bit of a chamfer. You got two diameters. There's a chamfer that goes about halfway down that bore, and that's what this is going to push into and get set. And then you've got another ID in there that's the size of the tube, and that's what's going to center the fitting. So the way these work, you put the nut on, and you put the ferrule on, and then you put this on, and you got to make sure it's set all the way in, and then you basically just run all this down tight, and it'll set that ferrule on the tube. And I'm actually going to clamp the tube down so that we're not fighting it. And that's basically just to make it to where we're not, where everything's somewhat kosher. And we need, these are, that's that, and this is this. And then this will just draw that ferrule down inside that chamfer that's in this end of the fitting, and that's what sets it on the tube. And the tighter you make it, the harder it bites. And then he doesn't need this part of the fitting because it's already on the machine. So he just needs the nut and the ferrule. And when you're done, that's what it looks like. You can see it kind of bit down on the tube. And now it don't come off no more. And there's our finished product. Yeah. So, that was an easy one. I don't have nearly the experience doing tube that Dad does. Obviously, the stuff that Dad can do with tubing is like art, but I know enough to be dangerous. So, anyhow, I'm gonna make this guy up a bill real quick, give him a call, tell him it's done, and then we'll head over to my house and do some tractor stuff. Alright, we had to give Lily a bath. I was waiting for that guy to show up, pick up that tube, and couldn't find where she went. I'm calling her. She comes back. I don't know what she found a roll in, but actually you can't picture it. Imagine smelling, the best thing I can figure is like week-old roadkill and cleaning out a pit of wet soybeans at the end of harvest. Like that kind of, just imagine those two smells put together. Blech. It was atrocious. But I want to, the garden is done for the year. We pulled the last of the stuff that Shelly wanted out of it on Friday. So all the pumpkins are done. She sold quite a few pumpkins, and we've already got quite a few here. We've still got quite a few left. Yeah, we still got all those. And she's got some in front of here. There's some scattered around here, there, and everywhere. So the garden's done. So I want to brush hog that and plow it today. And while I still got the brush hog on there, I want to mow the lot out back one more time. And then I think we'll be good on that until this should take care of it for winter. So we should be able to do that and unhook the mower and plow the garden and be done with the cubs for, well, until winter time, and then we got to put snow plow on. So give me some fuels in here and we'll go piddle around. And then when I get done, I'm tore it. I wasn't expecting that tube to take up when I you know, when you plan your day out. I wasn't expecting to have to do that tube, and that took up a big chunk in the morning. So I think I'm gonna change my plans. But anyhow, let me get ready to go here. And now we sit, because this is about the most cold-blooded thing you've ever seen in your life. All right. Until the pumpkins decided to grow all the way out into here and out into the corn, and it's like, well, now the pumpkins are there and you can't really hoe it anymore because there's pumpkin vines everywhere. Alright, that's brush hogged for the last time for the year. Or mowed, or what, that's not, I mean, I wouldn't really qualify that as a brush hog, but anyway. I'm gonna have to get another new belt for it, because I put a new belt on it last night, because last time I mowed this, the one that was on it was slipping, and it was out of adjustment, so I put a new one on it. Well, this one keeps wanting to roll in the pulleys. The one that was on it was a 5L690 if I was reading the numbers right. So this one's a 5L680 because the old one was like right at the end of the adjuster. So I figured, okay, I'll put an inch shorter belt on it. Well, this one is almost too tight, so I'm guessing that's probably why it's trying to roll. So I guess I'll have to go back and get a 690 to put on it and see if that solves it. But it got me through this pass, so hopefully this winter I can get that burn pile taken care of and get all that scrubby shit that grew back up pulled out, and there's like 5 or 6 stumps in that cut out there that need ground out. Hopefully if I can get those 2 spots taken care of next summer, I can mow this whole thing and keep it knocked down and looking nice, because that, especially that weed patch right there, that just annoys the crap out of me not being able to get in there and mow it. But it's so rough, and that burn pile's still in the center, and there's still some stumps and stuff need taken out. It's like, just mow around it for now. And I have mowed that in the past, but with them stumps in the way, it's just such a pain in the ass, and I'm scared I'm gonna break something, so I just let it go this year. But and with any luck, all a good chunk of this will be gone this winter too. At least the small stuff. I'd like to get it all out of there, but time will tell. Anyhow, get the mower cleaned off and I can get it unhooked. And then we could dig the plow out and plow the garden. I wish the weather would decide if it wants to be sunny or cloudy. The sun comes out, it gets nice, and then it goes back down and it gets like miserable looking again. Come on. take this plow out sometime and actually plow with it. Then like set it up right and actually get it scoured good again. Because they used to be scoured up real nice, shiny, perfect. Yeah, because we always used to go to plow days and stuff, so it always got taken care of. And then I bet this thing sat for 8, 9, probably 7, 8 years in that old barn we had on the highway without getting used, and it just turned into a big ball of shit. And it hasn't really been right, or well, it hasn't been scoured up since. So, and today with the ground being as wet as it is was not a good scouring, not good soil conditions to try to scour a mall board. And there's still quite a few tree roots out there too, but it's plowed. It's not a pretty job of plowing, but it's plowed. And when I say set the plow up right, actually you're actually supposed to, and I don't do it because that should have been down like that, but I wasn't paying attention really. Whoops, that would have helped too. Oh well, I was more concerned with fighting tree roots. You're actually supposed to slide this over. It'd be one hole up there, and there should be another hole in here somewhere to slide this over. Okay, it's supposed to be closer to that tire to fill the furrow. However, while I'm plowing the garden, I don't do that for a very specific reason, because at least in a garden situation, I like having it rough like this, because during the winter, all the leaves out of that tree fall in here and get stuck in all those ridges, and the wind doesn't blow them away, and it collects snow and it collects rain. And I'm probably going to spread manure on it again next spring before we plant, so it's going to make it, you know, organic matter. That's the goal here. And it's a whole lot easier to incorporate all the leaves and everything that's composted over the winter and yada 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 when it's already halfway down in the soil profile, rather than spread it out on top and trying to work it in. So that's why I don't necessarily take the time to set that plow up to where it does a nice flat job of plowing, at least here in the garden, because the ridges make it, or the ridges, like I say, it's, if it was a field, you want to do a good job of plowing. If it's a garden, I really don't care if I have to run over it 5-6 times with a disc to level it back out in the spring, because like I say, if you can incorporate all that organic matter, and half your job's already done for you because it's already down in those ridges from the plow, it makes it that much easier, and it's easier to build deeper topsoil. But in a field situation, you never want to do that, because you'd beat your brains out trying to work it back down, and you'd do it on a field level, and but so, and next year I'm hoping, next year I am definitely going to get a small walk behind tiller, whether it be self-propelled or one of those like little weed eater motor style ones, because I don't mind hoeing, but when you come home from working or you're trying to do stuff in between doing field work and everything, I don't have time to do a good job of hoeing it. I want to get in there, get the weeds taken care of, get out. So I'm going to try to get a rototiller for next year. And next year the pumpkins are going to go, we had the pumpkins here this year and the corn out back. Obviously next year we're going to rotate it. The corn will be here, the pumpkins will be back there. Hopefully we can do a better job of keeping the pumpkins segregated, and they won't try to climb up this way, because I mean it turned into it. They grew outside the fence. There was pumpkins growing here. They climbed this fence. They were climbing outside. They went nuts. So I'm almost thinking next year, because we'll run the corn rows, you know, they'll go from there to here, and then we'll probably have a row of sunflowers over there. and then the pumpkins will be back here. I'm thinking what we'll do next year to try to train them is either get more chicken wire, and actually I might have a section long enough to do it. Maybe either get more chicken wire or get some hog paneling or something and stake it here, so that if they do anything, they try to climb it and grow that way, rather than, because once the pumpkins got into the corn, it was game over trying to keep the weeds out, because they went nuts. So we'll see. We're learning as we go here about, and if she wants to keep doing pumpkins and keep getting them bigger, we're gonna have to figure out a different spot to put pumpkin, because this ain't gonna work. I was thinking if we could get cleaned up down there, but I don't know if it would be too wet. But I don't know, we'll see. It's all gonna depend on how serious she wants to get about this. So, and we'll see how well, because this is, although there is quite a bit more soil in this now that it's composted down a little bit than what it was when I worked it up this spring, because this was where those trees were, and there was a bunch of wood chips from grinding the stumps. But looks like since I've worked it, they've composted down a fair bit, and now there's a lot more soil here than the wood chips. So we'll see if that affects how much they want to grow too. And I'm gonna have to, I think I might take this gate, because as you can see I couldn't get this corner squared off. I think this gate needs to move. Like take it from here and put it down on that corner, and then make this whole front section removable maybe. I mean, I don't know how much time and money I want to invest in this fence, because this isn't how I want this fence to look. I want to put a picket fence around it with some removable gates and stuff to make work in the garden easier, still keep the deer out, and have it a little more permanent, a little nicer, and make it a little bit easier to keep the weeds out of it, and yada yada yada. But time will tell. So anyhow, that's enough talking. I'm gonna push this dirt back in the garden so that I can mow here and get the plow cleaned up, put away, and so I want to sweep the basement of the barn out, because it's all full of straw and dirt and crap from the summer's activities and a few other things before I call it a day. So I guess that's it for this one, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Wiggle butt, wiggle 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 butt.